when I did the first videos with Face Yourself, it was my first time like being on camera and getting from this, like you are just a technician in this whole thing and then you become the subject. It was really, really hard for me at first because like I remember the first video we did was Shadow Self. And I literally told the rest of the band while Eric was filming me, like, can you guys turn around and not look at me?
Welcome to the Brutality podcast. My name is Dom, and I just have a few things to shout out before diving into today's episode. First, I wanted to mention that we have a Discord server. If you want to stay up to date with everything podcast related, that is the place to be. But also, if you want to be a part of a community of like-minded people who are looking to just talk about and discover deathcore, whether that be old or new, all that happens over in the Discord server. Also, if you want to help support the show, we now have a Patreon. Some of the perks include early access to episodes, your name in the credits, being the first to know about our upcoming guests, member-only channels in our Discord, and so much more. All of that on Patreon. Also, we have some merch. We have 2 t-shirt designs that we are very excited about. You can go and find those over at indiemerchstore.com. And last but not least, we do these podcast recordings live on Twitch every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. EST. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, if you want to see the unfiltered, unedited versions of these episodes, that is where we do it. So links to all of that down in the description wherever you are watching or listening. That's all I have to plug. Thank you for listening and enjoy this episode.
It's really cool to have you on. People are really excited. Let me tell you that. Our community, when we announced it, everybody's really happy. So thank you for doing this, really.
Thank you for having me. I know it's a bit like last minute because like there's just so many things happening with the band right now. And I'm not home. I'm in Jersey right now. So I don't have my usual setup and everything. So thank you for being patient with me setting everything right before because I arrived a little bit late. I'm sorry.
No. Like I was saying, look, this is an internet thing, and that's what we have to deal with. And you are far from the worst disaster that we've had so far.
Oh my God!
What we dealt with was nothing in comparison to some
I'm
other
glad.
stuff. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
And it's good stuff too. You're saying a lot of stuff is happening for the band. It's all really positive, right? I mean, like it's popping off. I mean, from my perspective, I was just like they're doing really well. So it's all super positive for you right now.
Yeah, it's like we just have so much to do in such a short amount of time because with everyone who is like in different states and me before I was in a different country, now I'm here. So, but like it's so much organization thing. Like this is the moment of the year when everyone has to be in the same room for like 2 weeks because, you know, just having all this organization thing when everyone is like everywhere, it's complicated, but we get it done regardless.
Look, we got to get into all of that, but first we do have to pose the most important question first. Mayhem, Lady Gaga, the album.
Oh
what's the rating? What are we saying?
Oh my God. That is, you know, I've been listening to it almost every day lately, and I mean, Art Pop is my favorite album. I literally have a tattoo of Art Pop here. But I think Mayhem might be a new number 1, honestly. It's so good. It sounds so much like her, like a lot of the songs sound like her early work because it has a lot of disco influences, which the Fame is like really disco as well. So I really appreciate that. But at the same time, I think she just had fun with it because a lot of the sound is like really inspired by artists that she really likes and who influenced her. And I just like that. You can tell she's having fun doing music again.
That's awesome. I've been hearing a lot of chatter about this album from from within the metal community specifically, like metal and hardcore, just people who you wouldn't necessarily expect to be big Gaga heads, if that's a term. but been hearing a lot about the album. I've yet to check it out yet, but with it's seeming like a recommendation, so I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, honestly, it's really good because she describes it as like a chaos, and like how there's a lot of different genre of music on it, but at the same time, yeah, it has a lot of different influences, but it still sounds like everything goes well together.
It's cohesive. It doesn't. Yeah, I like when albums can take kind of the liberty of having being eclectic, but still sounding like it has a similar personality all throughout, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And she seems to have like, you know, she has a strong personality, and she to me, I'm pretty sure she's like fighting for her heart, like the way she wants it to be. And like, it's not everybody who does that, especially at that level, right? Like I'm guessing there's so many people in your ear, like being, oh, you should do that. And it to me always felt like she kind of did what she wanted to do. Like she always felt like she was real. So that's cool.
Yeah, I also really appreciate that from her. Like, obviously, when you like an artist, there might be some songs or some records that you like less, which was the case with me. Some albums I like a little less, but I appreciate that she can challenge herself in her artistry, and also that she just does whatever she wants. She has this freedom, and I think it's important for all artists, really. You got to do what you want to listen to.
No, that's cool.
Yep.
Exactly. Fully agree with that. Let's hop into some deathcore. But I want to get some of the origin story, because you know, a lot of stuff has been happening with Face Yourself in recent years, but it's been like 2 years, right? But I want to know Yasmine before that. What's like growing up and getting into metal and doing vocals? Like I want to know all of that. How does metal come into your life, and how does screaming get into it as well?
Well, it's funny because I feel like compared to some other people who do metal now, it might have happened later to me, because I started music very young. My dad put me in the classical music conservatory when I was 6. So I studied classical music until I was 12. And, you know, when you have to do those music studies and normal studies at the same time, when I entered like middle school, it was just too much for me, because I've always been like a really good student with like really good grades. But that was not just because I was like that. It's because I really worked and studied. It was just so much work for me. And I was just tired of studying too much. And you know, when you study music and it's like very, very strict, like the conservatory, it's like, it takes away the fun in music, because it's like very scholar. And later I used to hang with, like when I was in middle school, I was hanging with people from high school, and they were so cool. They were listening to metal. And that's kind of how I got into it, like hanging with people who listen to metal. And I remember the listen to more metalcore thing, which is not really the kind of music I listen to. But I remember like one of my friends, he was really into Parkway Drive. And after listening some of his recommendations, I got into death metal and black metal. So it was really like Cannibal Corpse. My favorite band is Karakengren. They are like a symphonic black metal band, and all their songs, like their albums are a story. They write from like myth and legends, and like the whole album is going to be based like on a story they pick. It's like listening to a Tim Burton movie, and I really like concept artwork like that too. And yeah, I just like started listening to a lot of like very extreme metal right away. And I didn't really know that girls could do it too. And I remember it was the same friend, he showed me F. And that's how I found out about girls being able to do it. I was like, oh, I'm kind of curious. And back then I was singing all the time, but not metal. And I just wanted to challenge myself by learning these type of vocals. And yeah, I really started by like singing along to Scourge of Iron by Cannibal Corpse. Like I literally have a video, I think, on my YouTube channel of me like through the years doing the same song over and over again. And later I discovered more deathcore, like Despised Icon, Suicide Silence, and then came Infant and Annihilator. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? This is crazy. I want to learn. And yeah, I tried. I just like, I'm a huge Dickie Allen fan. I just wanted to know how to do this, just because like I was born like in a two culture family, because my dad is French, my mom is from Tunisia. So I always listen to Arabic music. And so if you want to talk about vocal Olympics, I think we should talk about Arabic music, because this is the subject, you know. So I was always like really interested in very artistic, like technical artistry in general. And so for me, like listening to this type of vocals in metal, it was linked in a way, because the way you can control your voice, you find this in a lot of genre. And I find this just very, very interesting to study.
Do you think, because I'm curious, because I think it's super cool, that you were studying music and stuff like that. Do you think it had an impact in terms of like your perspective when you were hearing metal and scream? Do you think the fact that you knew a lot about singing came into play as well?
Yeah, I think so, because I was in a choir for a long time. And so they teach you how to keep your voice like safe when you have to practice a lot, when you have to perform a lot, and a lot about vocal control. They teach you how to speak and how to sing when you're sitting down and standing up. And I think a lot of like the metal vocals I got from that as well, just from like learning how to control your voice in general. And yeah, it's funny, because a lot of the things that I learned there, they are useful to what I do now. But I do remember a couple things that I heard that they were like, oh, absolutely not do that. And then I hear some vocalist doing that, and it's like, great. Like I remember, I think it was Will who said that he likes to take like mint or like gum mints for his voice. And I remember when I was a kid, I had a teacher telling me like, do not take mint before doing vocals. It's so bad for you. And like, you know, in the end, I guess just do whatever works for you.
I'm imagining right now, like the choir conductor being like, inhales are bad. You know?
Well, I don't know how to do inhales, honestly. So
that's funny though, but that's interesting that like, you know, even at a more like professional level in like singing, you know, where it's, you know, proper teachers and stuff, because to be fair, like sure there's like coaches and stuff which you've had as well, you know, for vocals and stuff for doing the metal stuff, but it's less formal, I guess, right? But so it's kind of funny to hear that even at a quote unquote higher level or more professional level in the singing world, there would be misconceptions that are just not true, right?
Yeah, I think it just depends on, if you feel like it hurts, just stop and try to, I mean, obviously when you start learning, you will do things that are not great, but you're gonna practice your way into it. When I learned, I was like, just like a lot of people right now, like I was a bedroom vocalist, a shower vocalist, you know, and you gotta practice until you feel like it feels right and you're not hurting yourself. And that's what she said. Oh my God.
Talking to the right crowd. Yeah.
You couldn't make me more happy. Like because like The Office in my life is a problem. Like I love The Office too much. I'm watching The Office Ladies podcast. Like they have a podcast talking about the
God, yeah.
I'm too much invested in The Office. So just when I heard that's what she said, I was like,
I'm going to have to watch the replay, and I know the face of his eyes is definitely lit up. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like, I live for The Office. But
it's just so good. I watched it twice, And right now with Tom, we're rewatching everything right now, like the whole week. Every time we like before we go to the studio and after we come back to the studio, we're just continuing. We started at season 3 because he told me, I never really got into it. I was like, start at season 3, and now we're at season 6 in like a week.
A week. Yeah. So highly productive, I see. Mm-hmm.
I just we are productive, but you know, we have some days off too, because at the start of the week, like my voice was not great because we traveled with Corey by car from Denver to Jersey, and so I was really tired. So I had like some days off. I did 1 day vocal, 1 day off. I actually rapped vocals today, so. Now I'm like free for the rest of the week. I'm just gonna be sitting in the studio and watch Eric finish drums.
That's
wrapping cool. Up drums last. That's a rare occurrence for most.
It's just a change on a song. Eric likes sometimes to like have drums for a demo, but he likes to change the drums based on my finished vocals. And for this one song, he wanted to do that. So. He's gonna finish that with Joey tomorrow.
Oh, it makes sense though, you know, kind of accentuate certain parts and kind of just wrapping it up with what you did. Basically, it makes when you say it like that, it makes sense. But it's true that usually you hear drums and it's like first day, like all the drums it's over and stuff. So it's interesting that.
Just a quick shout out to Orion with the raid.
We love Orion.
We love Orion here too.
What up,
Hell
dude?
Yeah.
He's the best.
Thanks.
Yeah, you did an interview with him, right? I'm not crazy.
Yes, I think it was a year ago.
About a year ago.
Yeah, Orion is the best. We wouldn't be where we're at now if it wasn't for this one TikTok, thanks to him. So, I mean, we've told him this 1,000 times, and we will tell him like until we die that thank you, Orion.
No, I mean, look, that's cool.
I did even have in kind of like my notes here, like I think a lot of attention kind of came your guys' way from like reaction channels and from you know, I guess there's maybe the broader topic of trying to make a memorable part in a song, or not necessarily a gimmick, but like just some sort of hook or something to kind of catch people's attentions that, you know, that translate very well in the context of a reaction, right? Where people will be, oh my God, you know, whether it be like a crazy breakdown or a vocal hook. Or can you speak to that a little bit? Is that something you guys are you know, putting a lot of thought into?
Well, we used to. I would say really at the beginning, our first 2 EPs, we were, I don't even like to call them EPs. And I think Eric agrees with that. We like to call them demos because, you know, we're just like 2-year-old as a band.
Too humble.
No, it's just, it's true. We recorded our first 3 EPs in Eric's basement, and we're so young as a band that through those 2 years, we learned to like communicate between each other, becoming friends, knowing who we are as people before like making the music. And we have a lot of different influences. And when you start like from literally nowhere, you're in this era of like things popping off on TikTok or deathcore being such like a vocal oriented, you're trying to do something that if you want to make it, you have to adapt at first. Like you have to get in the mold. And once you're in, that's when you can start to like do whatever you want. Like for some people, being themselves right from the beginning works. And I wish it was like that. But I think like more on a personal point of view for me, I'm not speaking for the band when I say this, but when I joined the band, Face Yourself was like my first very serious band. And a lot of the guys from my band, they've been doing this for a long time, whether it's like in touring bands or just like working with bands in the industry. And me, I didn't know anything of what I was doing. Like even today, like I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You know, I'm just listening to all the advice I can get. I try to learn on the go. And you know, sometimes you're told like, oh, if you did this, maybe it could work. And yeah, we just try to make it work. And now I think those those new records we're doing, it's starting to like be very more. Sorry, because we just spoke French right before. My English is becoming rusty right now.
That's my bad.
But that's me. Like I have such a hard time switching to the languages. But yeah, what I was trying to say is I think right now we are getting to a point where we're starting to have our sound, and we're trying to think like, who do we want to be? And it's something that we learn through the band as well in our personal lives, because Corey and I are the youngest in the band. Corey's 25. He's turning 26. I just turned 26. So like when we joined the band, we were 23, literally like kids, you know, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You don't know who you are. And I think we are at the point in our life when we're starting to like be adults and getting like stability in our life. And the band helped as well. Like when you learn to work with people from a different culture, from different places, who just have a different way of doing things than you, it helps you mature a lot. And I think it's translating in our music more and more.
It's really interesting, but I really, to what you said, I think the perspective, it's more of a perspective thing than you not knowing it's just, I feel like you're aware of where you want to go and what you want to do. So your self-awareness of like where you are is high. But like for someone who don't know what she's doing, you surely look like someone who knows what you're doing for a lot of people. But I think it's cool that you can, you know, kind of step out of it, look at yourself as in third person, if I can say it like that, and just, you know, being like, no, I want to go more. It from what I'm hearing, it feels like you guys want to evolve and go somewhere else as well, which is cool.
Yeah, it's a discussion that we have all the time, because, you know, we're 6 members. Imagine the differences in this band. Like Kyle is a death metal guy, Corey is a beatdown guy, Eric is like super hardcore, Tom is like very techie, I come from the grindcore scene. Dave has a degree in music. Like this band, like this is crazy. You have to see the conversations, the demo folder that we have. Sometimes it makes no sense, but in a way it's so cool, because having so much differences in our band makes a possibility for us to never settle for one thing. You can always have fun trying to, here you want to do a beatdown song, here you want to do something more death metal. This one is going to be more like classic modern deathcore that people want to hear. And here we're trying to innovate and do something a little bit different. And we have this freedom because we have all those very strong and different personalities in the band.
I think it's kind of about the blend of all of those things, right? Like I think that's personally what I find interesting about Face Yourself is the fact that you guys blend those different influences together, and it doesn't really sound like it's hard for me to be like, oh, you guys sound like this band, right? Because there are that many influences going around. But to your point, I think specifically with the 2 singles that you put out for the upcoming EP, all that makes a lot of sense in my head. You saying like, okay, the EPs were one thing, and then there was a year time, you know, also between the last EP and now what you guys are putting out, and having those conversations, and now being like, okay, now we feel like we can do something different. And the 2 songs are very clearly like, they're very unique. They're very different sounding in the best way possible. I've been loving the two new singles. So what's maybe we can dig into I guess the upcoming EP specifically in those singles, like and obviously we can't not talk about Joey within all that too. I'm curious how much input Joey has also within this whole process. Like, are you guys coming up going over there with fully built out songs, or like I don't know, there's like some cool production elements on these songs. I don't know, maybe that's him, maybe that's you guys in pre-prod. I'm curious about the whole process for the new stuff.
So that's the interesting thing about this band as well is, so our lead guitarist, Dave, he literally is a producer. So a lot of the things that we did before, that was his job. And then he was working with Ashtone, who then mixed our music. So a lot of the ideas come within the band. But I think this time working with Joey is like such like a relief for us, because it's like having an outside eye from your own work. It's like something, I don't know how to explain that, but when you are writing your own music, you're emotionally attached to things, and sometimes it makes it that you are not like necessarily willing to separate yourself from certain things. I know I can be a little bit stubborn. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm like, I really like this, but it's good to have someone that is like a little bit detached from this, and someone who is just here to tell you like, this sounds better, like this is just how we should do it, because from my professional ear I feel like this is just going to help you. And if someone like, it's for everything, but like if someone on the internet that you've never met is like, oh, this sucks, I don't care. But if Joey Sturgis tells me this sucks, then I will listen. I will listen for sure. But
it's probably sorry to jump in. It's probably
fine.
It's probably different also than someone else from your band telling you could do better. Even right, like there must also even just be, because it's Joey and he's really outside of the band, it's like a different dynamic, right?
Yeah, it definitely helps, because sometimes it's also me getting in my head too much. Like I can sabotage myself so much. Sometimes I'm like, I've done this one line and I'm like, I don't know if this sounds good. I want to do it again. And sometimes like it's the rest of the band who tells me, oh no, it sounds completely fine. Like sometimes it's just good to have someone who has some like trying to translate recul in my head.
Yeah, well, some
perspective.
Yes, perspective.
Maybe perspective. But and also Joey, I mean, he's responsible for so many like great, but like he's responsible for an era. I mean,
absolutely.
A complete era of bands that I still like, by the way. I mean, I'm still listening to like Miss May I, their album they dropped back then and stuff. So, but I would be curious. I had a question, not to switch gear too much, but you said that for you had to adapt, right? As a vocalist. Was that the same thing in terms of like as a front, like as a frontman lead, is that like moving everything, was that kind of weird for you at first? Because like if you watch the videos, honestly, it looks really natural for you to do that. So I would be curious to know if it was kind of all like a new thing, a new process, or it just came in naturally as you were performing.
Well, it's actually something that is still like a work in progress for me. I have to that's the thing, is I can be very critical of myself, but I know that the way I critic myself is always placed like, not necessarily to be mean to myself, but I can recognize when something is not like at the best level. And when I joined Face Yourself, I have been working in the film industry for like 3 years as a makeup artist. And so you are behind the camera and you take care of people who are going to be the ones like who are the subject. And so when I did the first videos with Face Yourself, it was my first time like being on camera and like getting from this, like you are just a technician in this whole thing and then you become the subject. It was really, really hard for me at first, because like I remember the first video we did was Shadow Self, and I literally told the rest of the band while Eric was filming me, like, can you guys turn around and not look at me? Because it was so hard to just like get in character, and like you have to act in a way. And a lot of the things that we write or the music that we do, it's music, it's an act you put on, but I'm actually like not violent at all. I'm like not like this at all. And so like doing this whole like trying to front a band and be the image, especially when I joined and I was like really still like young in my head and didn't really know what I was doing. It's like figuring out who you are and what image you want to translate. And I think on those last two videos, definitely I feel like I am more confident because I'm starting to like practice, get used to it after doing a few videos. But it's definitely
a few. This is like your
Yeah.
11th and 12th video at that point.
Yeah, but it's hard to
Yeah.
just get to that place because it's really like a very humbling situation. Like I still like I don't know how to explain that, but the film industry is not great. Like you are just when you are just a technician in all of this, like there's a lot of like not great behaviors and stuff like that. And so when you get into an environment when people care about you, they want you to be comfortable, they make sure that everything is good for you. It's like really, really weird to have this attention on you when you're just not used to it at all. Like I literally grew up like being a lame kid at school and I didn't have a lot of friends. And so like going to this, like you're nobody and then like people like what you do, it's very, very weird.
I think it's cool though, because since you've been on the other side, I'm sure you have like a complete different perspective, and you're always going to treat people well, right? Because you were.
I want to.
so that's that's pretty cool. So I know I kind of switched gear, but I was really curious because like to hear from you that you were not used to it or wasn't natural was kind of blowing my mind, because when I watched the video, it literally looked like a band who's been touring like for 25 years, like fully.
Oh, thank you.
No, but really, like that's the impression. I was just like, it looks natural. So it's interesting to hear that it was a whole process for you, right? Like it was intimidating and stuff. And if I can bring it back to Joey, because I was about to ask that, was it intimidating in front of Joey Sturgis doing vocals and stuff like that? I'm trying to put myself in your shoes with Joey and all. Was that like a whole process for you as well?
Well, I would say this whole process in general, like working with professionals is like so wow, like so different because we've done those first 3 EPs in Eric's basement, almost all by ourselves, and the intervention that we had, like mixing from Ashtone, those are people we reached out directly, but we haven't really seen in real life and everything. So it was very in-house, and having like this privilege of working with professionals is like definitely, wow, there's people who are doing this for us. Like we have to be good because they are using their time to help us. And so having Sumerian and their connections that they gave us, like Joey, it is definitely something. And I was definitely nervous before getting to work with Joey, but he is like so chill. He's like the chillest dude ever. He understands like this band's personality so well. It's like so easy to work, but at the same time having like a very easy work ambience, going like having a lunch break with everyone. I believe we're getting sushi Friday. Like, it's just so easy to work with him because he is such a professional. He makes everything seem easy and everyone really comfortable. Like he adapts to this band so well, because this band is like so unserious, honestly. it's all like a jokes and joking around between takes and like sharing memes and stuff like that. It's just like a bunch of bros, and he became one of the bros. So
it's really good to hear, honestly, because it says a lot on a person if you guys are comfortable like that with someone with that level of skills and experience. I think it says a lot about about him and the experience of recording with Joey. We're not sponsored by Joey, by the way. It's just
oh, he's just genuinely great. He is.
We're just talking about him because he's cool. So
Brutality Podcast is sponsoring the Self-Care Others Harm tour, which is a Thus Spoke Zarathustra album release full USA tour featuring a crazy amount of amazing bands in the revival scene as regional supports. Bands on the run include Surfaced, Slamwich, Lilith's Demise, Damage Over Time, In Which Divides Us, Mauled, Reverent, Brain Injury Unit, Disfigured, and Delilah. So incredibly stacked lineup. If you want to check out the full dates as well as venue information and what bands play where, head on over to brutalitypodcast.com/TSZ tour or hit the link in the description. Just a quick second to thank the sponsor of today's episode, Indie Merch Store. Pre-orders are live for the highly anticipated new album from Shadow of Intent. Imperium Delirium is available on limited splatter vinyl and picture disc, along with CDs and a sick merch line. Secure yours at www.indiemerchstore.com and check out their latest single, Feeding the Meat Grinder, featuring Corpse Grinder of Cannibal Corpse. You can use code BRUTALITY at checkout for 10% off your entire order, courtesy of Indie Merch Store. So a big thank you to them. And now back to the show. Look, we're talking about an unserious band. We're talking about jokes. Everything's a joke. And we're talking about Joey. And we got to talk about April Fools. We
gotta, yeah.
bring me through the process of the deathcore soundboard.
Oh my God. That's the thing is, like I said, this band is so unserious. And we actually have two chats with Joey. We have one on Messenger when we're supposed to send the work stuff, but it ends up in memes. And we have another chat on Instagram. It's called Deathcore Dollars. And it's just stupid memes every day. And I think it was Dave's idea. I'm not sure, but because Dave is really into production as well, they were joking about making a plugin about stupid samples of like cliche deathcore vocals. And Joey ended up asking us if we wanted to do it. And because Kyle, who is our bass player, and Corey, who is a guitarist in our band, they're both vocalists in other bands as well. And sometimes they do a little bit of vocals here and there on Face Yourself. So he just asked us if we wanted to be a part of it. And because we've done all of those mockumentaries and like joke stuff together, it was just like super natural to do. And I thought it was really going to be a joke, but we ended up like actually doing it. And It was like literally 2 weeks before the release, we rented this practice place with Corey, and we recorded just a bunch of like really stupid stuff. And we asked a few reaction channels to do buttons as well, because that's the thing is reaction channels like really played a big role in Face Yourself getting where we're at, because we got those people reacting to us like without asking. Those people were just nice enough to help us. And so we wanted to give back in a way. So we thought it could be cool to have them like be a part of this. And yeah, I don't know, there might be other stupid things like that we're going to do. Just like it all starts as a joke, but we end up doing it. So it's like half serious in a way, because you actually commit to the joke. So it ends up being serious.
It's good to hear though, because honestly, like we keep, talking about touring and the reality of it, because from an outside perspective, it just seems like, oh, it's party and but it's actually, it's demanding. It's, it's not easy. So I'm sure, not taking yourself too seriously, laughing together and stuff like that is probably a big game changer in your connection and how it is to record. And it probably makes the whole process, everything that's maybe more difficult or more demanding, it makes it easier, right? The fact that you're laughing all the time. So I think it's a good
Absolutely.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, especially lately, like a lot of the songs on the new EP and on the things that we are currently recording, they're like very serious subjects. It's the first time that I'm writing about stuff that are very personal. So it's like very depressing. And we actually had like a huge conversation about this today in the studio, how like it's really difficult to be vulnerable in your music, because you're like giving a little bit of yourself to the world. And it's like really, really hard, because obviously I would say I really don't care when people say they don't like our music or me, like that's totally fine because they're allowed to. But if I'm going to share a little bit of something personal and people are going to make fun of it, then that might hurt me. And Joey was like, yeah, that will. But at the same time, that's what's important for a good artist. Like a lot of good artists are people who are able to be really themselves. And that's why, we're goofing around and all that. And that's literally who we are in real life. But like this whole thing we're writing about, it's like really difficult. And I really like that in this band where like we have a space where we can be vulnerable with each other. And when we're not okay, I mean, everyone has experienced like different things this year personally. And it's really easy to tell the band, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to do this right now because I'm not in a good place. And there's always like, oh, can we do something to help you? Like this band is like so good at doing this. And I think if you have like good friendships, good relationships, and trying to also make it work on the professional side of it, it's just, you have the good recipe for just making it work.
It's a part of the success, basically, because you were mentioning that, people are behind you, the reaction channels and stuff like that. Those things you're describing, people can feel that, even from a distance. You can feel these things with it, and you root for people like that most of the time, right? Like when you see good people that you're just like, I want them to succeed, and it feels, from an outside perspective, it feels like your fan base. It's exactly that. People are rooting for you. They want you to succeed. So I think it's good with the band, but I also think it's good for the relationships that you build with Joey, with people and stuff like that. People want to be around bands like that, as opposed to the traditional we're cooler than the world, you know what I mean? Like we're better or whatever. So
too cool for school.
Too cool for school, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I would say we were lucky. We never really had any experience like that, or I don't remember ever meeting like someone who had a weird behavior, or like most people we had interactions with are actually super nice. So I think if you are nice to people, there is no reason they would be like mean to you.
Well, you would assume as much, but
yeah.
I want to believe I want to believe in good stuff,
Yeah. But talk to me a little bit then about like, I'd love to touch on joining the band, because we're talking about like these strong relationships now and stuff, and being able to be vulnerable and all these things. But there must have still been a time early on where you were jumping into the unknown, right? You were joining a band with people from across the world. You didn't know any of these people personally. So can you kind of speak to, I guess, joining the band? And I saw somewhere something about parents taking out the champagne bottle or something like that when you joined the band. Talk to me about joining the band and how that all kind of happened.
Yeah, that's still a crazy story to tell. I remember when I told my two best friends before I left France, they were like, but are you sure you're going to meet those 5 men you've never met, and you're traveling, you're going to sleep in their house? Like, you're not scared of getting kidnapped or something? I was like, oh no, it's going to be okay. But yeah, it was actually really, we actually had a conversation about something similar in the studio today about, like, Eric said he doesn't believe in luck. And Joey was like, oh, but I'm sure there's something that you can't explain, and that thing is luck. And I think this goes in between all of that, because there is a truth in like consequences getting you to somewhere, but sometimes there's like something, that a little star or something that's helping you, a little angel over your head. I don't know. But basically the way it happened for me is I was in a band right before Face Yourself in France, and it just didn't end well, sadly. It was like friendships getting broken up and stuff like that. And I told myself that if I let this thing reach me too much, that the heartbreak would be so big that I could not do music ever again. So I told myself, you have to put yourself out there, because you can't like let a bad experience just take this away from you. So I remember putting in my story looking for a deathcore band anywhere in the world. If it's serious, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I just want to try to do some cool shit with music. And Christian from Diamonds to Dust, who is from New York as well, he saw my story, and he sent me a message. He said, I know a guy. He is currently making taking auditions for a deathcore band. I can send you his Facebook. And it was Eric. Eric made like a Facebook post about taking auditions right now. I'm doing a deathcore band. And so I sent him a DM. I was like, I'm really interested for the vocalist role. And he sent me a demo. And so I tried. It was our song Hypothermia. I sent it back to him, and he was really curious. Like, he called me so many times before I ended up joining the band, but just like to get my vibe, to try to get to know me as a person and see how it would work. Because the rest of the band, Eric is he is a music video director. So he worked with a lot of bands. He's the one who made the To the Hellfire music video. So he has a lot of contacts, and basically Face Yourself is some of his clients from other bands that he was like, I like those people. I like working with them, and I need people that I know. Like, he basically told me, I remember, I'm taking the best member of each band I know, and I'm doing a band with them.
The Avengers, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And he just didn't know me. I was the only stranger. And so I know that a lot of people auditioned for this role. I know of a few popular names as well. I'm not going to say who to not name drop or something, but I did hear some things. I was like, it was close call, but Eric ended up calling me. I remember this day. I was sick, so I didn't go to work. And I was in bed watching the last episode of Breaking Bad. And I was crying because of the end of Breaking Bad, with my nose runny and everything because of how sick I was. And he called me, and I think he thought that I was not reacting because I was not happy or something. But I was like, I'm sorry, I'm just so sick. And I just watched the end of Breaking Bad. And so I got out of bed, and I put my dad on speaker because I told my parents that I auditioned. And he just started talking to my dad and telling him that I would be taken care of, everything would be great, that he's excited for me to join the band and everything. And my parents just had a good feeling from this. So I just a month later, I took the plane, and I went to New York to do this. I still, looking back, I still think to myself, this is kind of crazy.
I'm thinking back, 23 years old, solo, woman coming over to the States to, again, like you said, meet these people that you've never met before.
Yeah.
And even from your parents' perspective, they're probably looking at it like, really? Who is this?
Honestly, they were so chill about it, because that's the thing is for my previous job in the film industry, I also traveled a lot. I mean, in France and countries around, but it's something that I would do a lot. Sometimes you just take your makeup bag and you go 7-hour train just to do a week of filming. So I would travel a lot for that. And I think my dad understood, my mom too. My mom is kind of the one who pushed me to do it, because I told her, I saw this audition thing, and I don't know if I should try because it's far, but why not? And she was like, one life, just do it. You never know. So
cool, Mom.
Yeah, they're really cool. My parents totally follow the band. My mom used to listen to metal when she was younger. My parents didn't understand, I think, the genre right away of deathcore.
Understandable.
But they got into it slowly, and I even took my mom for her birthday to a Lorna Shore show, and my dad was here too, and they loved it, and they were like, now I understand, you have to be as good as Will, because he's really, really good. I was like, I know, Mom, he is incredible, but I'm not Will. But I wish all the bands on this tour were incredible. But I think that's when they went to this show, they understood. My dad was like, I see like how you guys have codes, like the horns, the pits. I understand the breakdowns and stuff like that. Like they understood everything. And my
They
dad
saw the
also has
pyro.
yeah, it was a crazy show, but I think they just understood like all the codes and how like it's almost like choreo, you know, things like that. And yeah, they're just really supportive. Like just like my sister is also a little bit of an artist. Like everyone in the family does something artistic, so they were just very supportive. And obviously, there's always like the be careful with this and that, like make sure you're safe. But
Yeah.
they were very, very supportive.
And probably, well, not probably, surely super proud as well, right? I mean, like you said you were super young studying music in school, and now they look at you now and you're a professional doing that. You're in studio, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm sure for them, they're like super proud to see that not only you're good at what you do, but it's what you love doing on top of that. So for them, it's kind of everything at the same time. And it's really interesting, by the way. You're really good at telling stories, but the way you're building it feels like it was meant to be. I mean, you were studying music, you were in the filming industry, you already traveled. Do you feel sometimes like it was just like meant to be, like it was that's your place and you were always meant to do that? Do you believe in these things? I'm just curious.
Well, it's something that I often wonder, honestly, because there's a part of me that always like wanted to do music at like maybe not like a career, but I did want to experience like touring and getting to like record a full story, like not just like singles, but like doing EPs and hopefully full length as well soon. It's just something that I've watched for a long time others do, and I've always wanted to get that far, but I didn't like really believe in it. And a lot of the times it's the people around me who believe more than I do. Like you should see the amount of times that we have this conversation with anyone in the band, or even with my husband. We talk about how doing this is so hard because it's so much sacrifice. It's not like financially stable. We choose. That's why sometimes it's hard to like feel bad or like complain about it, because you choose this for yourself. You choose to go through those difficult steps, and life would be so much easier if we had all normal jobs, you know. It would be so much easier, but we decided to do that. And I think I remember telling my mom, like when I auditioned, that yeah, I'm young. It's an opportunity for me to travel and get better in English and meeting new people. It's good to travel when you're young, and I just didn't expect it to go this far. I knew that it would be serious because everyone wanted to do like good songs that everyone would be happy with and have like something that you could like publish and be like, yeah, we did this and we're happy with it. But not necessarily like getting signed in 2 years is like crazy. That was literally the discussion of today, like how I still think to this day we are extremely lucky because there's people who do what we do and they've been doing this for years, and people who are so much more talented than us and they don't have this. And sometimes it feels there's a bit of guilt in it as well. And I'm trying to enjoy it as much as I can because you don't know how long this is going to last. Like you don't know how long deathcore is going to be appreciated by people. Maybe it's going to be another genre, but it's the genre that I've loved for the longest time. And yeah, I mean, this is not a job yet for any of us really, because it's not sustainable yet, but just getting to have this possibility to like be able to record music with professionals and like having like a whole team behind you when you have a label, it's like crazy that those people are like, oh, you want to do this, let me see if I know someone who can help you with that. And it's just crazy that these people just believe in what we do.
How'd those conversations with Sumerian start? How long in the running was that?
So it happened almost a year ago now. I think it was our booking agent, Dan DeFons. He knows
Oh,
Ash.
hell yeah.
And I think Ash called Eric, and that started like this.
I mean, DeFont is the GOAT. Just going to put it out there.
He's the best. We love him. We love him.
It's really cool. But if I may add to what you said, the exact mindset that you have, to me, just is telling me that you said you have guilt and stuff like that. The simple fact that you guys are feeling like that meant that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You know, it's just being it's just being conscious that there's still like some sort of luck behind it, even though you work really, really hard and stuff like that. But I feel like it just makes you guys appreciate it more because you know how many people want that, and you achieved it pretty quickly if we compare it. But it doesn't mean that it's not, well deserved. I mean, we're talking about someone here who took a plane without, just out of the country trying. Like, I don't know many people who would do that. I'm just trying to give a bit of credit because you seem hard on yourself, but like honestly, would like very often in life, it's the risks that you're taking that are paying off later. So it's with perspective, it's easy to say like, oh, I would have done that. Yeah, maybe you would have done that knowing that it succeeded. But here's the thing, you don't know prior to it. And you guys all took risk, right? So I just wanted to add on to that it's good because you appreciate it. But from my perspective, it's like, yeah, but you took risk and you did it well. And you have good perspective on it, so it's really well deserved.
Thank you.
Everyone's, because it's easy to look at Face Yourself in a vacuum, but most of the people in the band have been at it, like you mentioned earlier, for so much longer than the band's been a thing, right? Like if you talk specifically about Eric, like he's been grinding for over a decade at this point,
Yes.
Whether it be with his own stuff or just grinding in the music video biz and all that. So those sort of things, people kind of, I guess people don't take into account, but that all leads to now having something quicker than if you guys had all started at 17 years old together in a brand new band, right? It's a different game, right?
Yeah, I mean, we also all had bands like prior to that, like Tom was in Sentinels. I had like 3 local bands before that in France that we never like recorded music or did anything besides playing in bars. And I know Dave takes gigs, like he does music with a few bands, like wedding gigs and stuff like that. And he's also in a few other projects. Corey is in Levitated, which is such a good band. Kyle is in Iserophobia, which is death metal. So good. So good. Like this whole band is just like a bunch of people who have been doing music for a long time and wanted to do something a little more with it. And I often say to my friends as a joke, like I took two suitcases and a dream and the plane.
I mean, quite literally, right? That's kind of actually how it went down. How
did work pretty well though. Yeah. No, I'm just gonna did work pretty well for you. So it was a good decision to make.
Yeah, it's still crazy to think. Like I literally had no idea that I would be moving to the United States and meeting my husband thanks to my band as well. Like it's just crazy. Like Face Yourself has just done so much for all of us in our lives, and we're all like such good friends. It's just so good to have each other besides doing the band, like just spending time together and getting to have those new friendships, people that you talk to every day. Like even when we're not all together, the band chat is active like 24/7.
Literally a family basically is what.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How was that the debut show? I saw footage from it and it looked awesome, but how was that as an experience, as like for the band playing the first show together and for you first show with the band and in America, I guess, at all too?
Oh, it was such a good memory. I remember it was January of last year, and I remember being super nervous that day, but all our friends were here. I think that's what made it such a good memory, is that all of our friends were here. And we were just so lucky to have Signs headlining this. Defense helped a lot as well for the show. He believed in us since day one. He is such a good friend to the band as well, and it was just a crazy experience because as a first show, we didn't expect like much people to show up, but it was actually sold out. It was crazy. There was so many people, and I think it was the first time of my life that I performed in front of that many people. So I was like very, very stressed. But it was so great. Like all of the bands that we shared the stage with, they were all so nice and had good advice as well. But that was my first show in a while. So I like my first show with In-Ears as well. A lot of us, it was our first show with In-Ears. So it was just so great to have like so many people that were here. A lot of family of everyone was here too. So it was so good to just see people who don't even care about metal being here just to support.
Yeah, we no stories of people's family getting moshed on or anything like that. We've had some stories like that recently on the show.
Oh, okay.
What was it? Restricted. The dude's mom got crowd killed.
That's pretty insane. Yeah, I think a dad ended up fighting or something. It was this whole.
Oh yeah, I think I saw this on Facebook. Was it on like Lamb Goat or something like that a few days ago?
No, it wasn't. It was a bit earlier than that, but I don't know. It's just family sometimes at the deathcore shows can get pretty wild.
Oh, okay. I've never experienced that firsthand, but I think I did see an article or something like that like a few days ago.
I'll have to look into it. I'm curious now.
It's possible, but you know, like there's this huge discussion about, you know, crowd killing and stuff like that, the culture behind it, and so it's still it's kind of a big debate, and you know, in the scene, because obviously there's hardcore in the culture of hardcore. It's always been there, so there's this big debate. But that specific story was pretty wild because like it's rare you're gonna hear, like usually people when they see kind of older people or parents or whatever, like, you know, they're gonna be careful at the very least. It was the first time me hearing something like that. Was like, oh my, that's pretty wild, you know, like seeing like a parent getting hit, I would be like, it's special. So
yeah, usually if we have like friends who don't mosh a lot, or family or friends, we tell them to stay on the side of the stage, or they can stay behind and look at the show from behind, or we tell them just don't be too much in the front or in the middle. There are strategic points you can say. I'm one of those. I don't go in the pit.
The parking lot.
That's a bit sad though. Okay, but you can have a show on a parking lot. I'm sure it has been done.
That's true.
It has for sure. But yeah, as you said, it's always a good advice to give parents, like when you're gonna see a big circle, don't go in. just it's not a good idea.
Absolutely. I mean, when my parents were at Lorna with me, we stayed far from the circle pit, but they watched. And there's this one guy in Paris who always comes to shows dressed as Jesus. And I was hoping that he would be here that night. And I was telling my parents, "Oh, look, it's Jesus. He's in the pit."
The image, you know, it's just, yeah. We're not used to that. No, but it's interesting. I used to be the person moshing, and now I'm the person who's like, that would be. I'm sitting sometimes, so it's another. You know, the things change over time for a lot of people.
Yeah, I was sitting on the balcony for most of the show I went to yesterday. So there's that.
Comfortable.
Yeah. But hey, my back doesn't hurt today, so it's all good.
That's great. I do the same, honestly. Like, I remember it was at the Born of Osiris show like a couple years ago. I went and I was not even in the pit, like I was far, but I still got into it. Like I was dragged into it. I felt like 5 times. I was like, oh my God, I'm never getting this close to the stage ever again. And like, I understand why people have fun doing this and all, like, to each their own, but it's not for me.
Same, exactly.
I'd love to tap into a few a few last things, if you'll indulge us. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
I don't know how
Absolutely.
you're doing on time, but
Oh yeah, I have nothing to do. Like I finished recording my vocals, so
there we go.
technically
Okay.
tomorrow is a rest day.
The next
All right.
thing to do is to watch The Office. So she's
Yeah.
I have to finish season 6.
There you go.
So you were talking about the Lorna show, but I'd be kind of curious about the French metal scene, but deathcore, metalcore specifically. I know there's a bunch of metalcore out in France specifically, but I haven't heard all that much deathcore, at least as of late. We had like Betraying the Martyrs and like a few bit like Upheaval, and we had some bands over the years, but never seemed to be like a huge deathcore scene over there. Is that just me not digging deep enough, or what's that looking like?
No, honestly, that's kind of true. That's why I also don't know a lot of like French deathcore bands, because it's true, it's more metalcore, and I don't really listen to metalcore, to be honest. So I would say like a French deathcore. I mean, there's a Xenotheory that's really good. They're also really, really chill people. I wish they had like just more people listening to them, because they're just so good. There's also K9. They're actually from Strasbourg as well, like me.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I think I have their drummer on Instagram, but I've met them like once or twice, because with my old band we used to rehearse in the same rehearsal space. But yeah, when I think on the top of my head, honestly, there's also a Solar Eruption. They're also a deathcore band from France, but that's true. I actually don't know a lot of French deathcore bands. There are a few deathcore shows though. I would say there's more hardcore shows, because there's a lot of like a big hardcore scene in the UK, and when they tour, like they often do stops in France as well. But yeah, most of the shows that I hear of usually are just like very Euro death metal, melodic death metal kind of shows that happen.
Okay, which is surprising to me though, because like music wise, like over there, I mean, if we're talking like hip hop, rap, and other kinds of music, it's like huge. Like I would even say, I don't know if you call it pop, but like singers and stuff like that. You guys have so many artists, so I would assume that metal or deathcore would follow. So it's a bit, but as you said, metalcore was with Betraying the Martyr. I always thought they were metalcore somehow, but I would assume there would be more deathcore band, because there's a lot of people there, so it's strange.
There might be more that I don't know of, but I was like mostly in France. I would mostly like go to like grindcore, punk hardcore shows, like these kind of scenes. So I don't really know much about deathcore in France, sadly, but that's one of the reasons why I was when I was looking for a band, I've put that I was willing to travel, because I knew that I would struggle to find a deathcore band in France, because a lot of people here just I don't know if it's just me, but like I remember looking for bands when I was younger, trying to audition for deathcore or brutal death metal bands, and they weren't like super into having like a girl in their band. I remember auditioning for a band once through those. There was a website called Zinkinf, and they just like put like flyers about we're looking for a member, like a guitarist, a vocalist, something. And I just auditioned with just sending like my voice, and I had like a internet name, so you couldn't really know if I was like a girl, and they liked it and they asked for my information, so I sent them my Facebook, and they were like, oh, we don't really want a girl in our band. And that kind of left like a bad taste in my mouth. And so after that I was like, okay, I don't know if I will find something like brutal, because it's just not, I don't really want to play music that I wouldn't listen to. And so I enjoy some more melodic bands, but when it comes to metal, I like to listen to very, very heavy stuff. and I was a bit afraid of finding something heavy in France because it might be a little more old school. Maybe it's just me. I don't want to like put everyone in the same bag and say, but yeah, it might be me, but that's why I was just willing to look somewhere else as well.
It's I don't know, you were telling that story and I was trying to picture these people saying, oh, we don't want a girl, and seeing now what you guys are doing with the videos, like super well.
They probably don't even remember me because I was 16 when I was looking for bands at this time. And at 16, I joined my first band. It was called Ex Nihilo, and it was a melodic death metal band. And I remember we were doing like covers of Amon Amarth and stuff like that, which are bands I absolutely do not listen to, but that was the heaviest thing I could find at the time. And I still had a great time because those people were so nice. And we did a few shows in bars and stuff like that. It was still fun. But that was not really like the kind of music I wanted to play. And every time I was searching, like it was years ago, you know, so it was like 10 years ago. And back then, like people were like, oh, maybe you should try like symphonic bands. And it was a bit of a cliche, like girls in corsets doing symphonic stuff. And I was like, no, I want to be some plumbers from Cerebral Bore. I don't want to do that.
but it's cool though. That's one of the first things, like because when he introduced me to your band, that's kind of, he knows I love like hardcore, beatdown, more of that. And he's like, dude, you're going to be, and I was just like, that's so freaking cool. Because as you said, and symphonic is cool. Like, I don't want to bash on it, but I'm just saying it's kind of a thing that you see a little more, but to see you perform on like, kind of, you guys have a hardcore beatdown kind of vibes. It's just, it's cool. It's different, so I think it makes you guys stand out even more in that way, which is a good thing. Cool.
Yeah, I think it's a subject that we've talked about a lot in the band, and that mostly came from me. I often said like I'm not interested in being like marketed as a female fronted band. I don't want to be a gimmick or anything. Not that a gimmick is a bad thing, but I want to play heavy music because it's the kind of music I listen to and I like. And I don't necessarily want to do something because people expect a certain thing coming from a girl doing music, which I totally understand. That is totally fine. But at the same time, I'm at a point in this band where we're not making a living from it. So I don't have a pressure of I have to satisfy anyone but ourselves and trying to have fun, so we just want to do things that we like, and that's just heavy shit.
It's a good mindset, but if you ask me, like I think it should never be, oh, she's good as a female. She's good. You know what I mean? Like, you like her vocal or not. Like, I think we should, like, people should drop the whole, like, oh, for a female vocal, like, just, like, do you like the person performing? That's it. Like, and I think it should be just, like, we had this conversation with a band called Slamwish, and we had this discussion a few times, and it should be just, like, a normal thing, Like, oh, there's girls in this band. Cool. That's it. It should be just normal, that's it's just cooler that way, if just
have you felt that a lot though, because you talk about these kind of specific examples, but is that something you're kind of constantly trying to navigate, like being a girl in a deathcore band or a metal band in general? Like, is that something that kind of is a part of your day-to-day?
I would say honestly, nowadays, not really. It was mostly like when I was trying to get into bands back then. Like I experienced that a lot. I remember one of the first shows that we played with Ex Nihilo. We were doing sound check, and one guy from another band that was playing that day came to me and said, "So who are you dating?" I was like, I'm not dating anyone. I'm actually the vocalist. And he was like, oh, I don't like female vocalists. I was like, Okay, like I was 17. I was like, I don't even know what to say to those 30-year-old dude, like I'm just having fun. I'm 17. It feels like I'm just doing something cool, just having fun. And then we performed, and I remember the guy coming to me at the end and saying, "Oh, it was really cool." And 2 weeks later, he told me he was making a new band and asked me to join, and I obviously said no.
Thank you for having that minimal amount of self-respect and saying no.
Yeah, I mean,
it was back then. I would say today, like in the scene, like people that I've met, people who work in music, they never made me feel different, never made me feel like treated differently because of being a girl. I would say it's more in the listener perspectives, but it's not always a bad thing. Like, not. I'm trying to translate in my head. Like, it's not like a mean thing, but sometimes when I go to shows, people come up to me and say, "Oh, you're my favorite female vocalist," and they mean it as a nice thing. It's like very nice. I hope someday I will not be a female vocalist, but just a vocalist. But sometimes people just make comparison or think of things not always coming from a bad place, but just it's because of the reference they have or what they know of. So it's not always like a bad intent. But I would say, in the scene, really, I never experienced that. It's mostly when people do comparisons that have nothing to do, like, "Oh, you are Ginger's sister," or "You guys are trying to be Ginger." I'm like, I don't even listen to Ginger. Like, no disrespect. They are amazing. I actually saw them live once and they were really, really good, like a really good live band. But no one in the band listens to them. And if anything, it's really not an inspiration. Like, they don't do deathcore, and they are fucking amazing, obviously. But like, sometimes
the only
you just
similarity is that there's a girl in the band. That's
Yes.
what it comes down to.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you see threads of people saying, "Who is better, or Courtney or Tatiana or this?" And you're like, but they don't even sound the same. They don't do the same music. And like, it's just comparing girls to other girls, even though they have like nothing in comparison, which I don't want to. That's the thing. I'm trying, like, I just turned 26, so I like to think that my frontal lobe has developed. So
You like to think, okay.
I try to think that I'm trying to be more mature and think to. Not everything is always placed in a bad intent. It's just sometimes people have this reference and they're not trying to insult you. It's just they really like Ginger and they see you as a girl and they don't think further, and they're just like, "Oh, I admire that," and maybe they just don't have other references, which is fine, but sometimes people just got introduced to music or just don't know a lot of bands yet, or they just listen to a specific genre and they just found out about your band, and they don't even listen to deathcore, so they maybe don't even have like a lot of knowledge around deathcore. So I try to think like this now. If you take away the negativity, you keep clear skin.
No, it's true. But
I'm gonna have to try that one out.
Yeah, might work. But honestly, the way I see it also is, over time things are going to get better and better, because earlier during the conversation you said that you didn't even know it was a thing because there was not many girls singing and stuff like that. But first of all, it's super cool because now you're a person who's basically inspiring people or showing people that it's more than possible. But over time, I feel the more we're going to have like girls in bands and stuff, it won't be a thing anymore. It's just going to be people in a band. So those kinds of comments over time are going to fade away a little bit. We see these same kind of comments I love skateboarding. Like I was doing skateboarding and every time there's like a girl, all the comments like, "Oh, as a girl," instead of just saying, "Oh, she's good" or whatever, same thing. But I'm sure over the years, someday it's just going to be, "She's good." So I think it's the same thing here. It's just the more and more we're going to go, the more it won't be just It's just going to be like, oh, great vocalist, you know, or great guitar player or whatever. So,
absolutely.
So I think over time it's going to get better and better. Maybe I'm too hopeful. I don't know, but I think that's what's going to happen.
I think it's already the case. Honestly, there's like, I see less and less comments like this. Honestly, like those things that I just talked about are things that I don't experience that much. Of course, there's always like one comment every now and then, but
you wouldn't have gotten even if you were a dude. Like there'd always be someone complaining or being an asshole online,
no matter what.
Of course, but no matter what you do, no matter what your gender is or what you identify as, there's always someone saying something. You will see that with some guys post sometimes too. Like I often, before I was in Face Yourself and I used to do only covers, I would get like people saying, oh, it's fake voice, it's auto-tune because you're not capable of doing that. And you tend to think that it's something that girls would get a lot. And yeah, but I've seen guys also getting that more and more, probably because like more techniques in vocals are getting practiced now and used, and maybe like there's just more people who are who have a hard time believing that those things are achievable. So yeah, obviously as a woman, there's some things that you will experience a little more than guys, but they also experience shitty stuff, you know.
Yeah, I think it's a good perspective. No matter what you do, basically, you know, there's people in this world right now trying to hate on people like, you know, Will, who's like obviously good. Like what you want to say, like you cannot. To me, it's just undeniable. He's great. Like try to say, and yet there's people everywhere being like, oh, you know, he's not. So no matter where you are, you know, in the popular band or not, in the local, people are going to say stuff. So it's
absolutely,
you know, it's part of it, I guess.
Yeah, no matter what, there will always be people saying something, which in a way is fine. You know, everyone is allowed to have an opinion. They're allowed to dislike your music or dislike your vocals, and I'm not hurt by that because I understand as someone before I do music, I'm also someone who listens to music, and there's some type of music or some bands, some songs that I will like less than others, and it's not always like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
You should apologize to all those bands.
But yeah, I would never like get in like put those negativity out, because I don't think I think even more when you do music yourself and there's people like listening to what you do and watching you, I always try to think to myself, like, is this worth saying? Is this worth posting? Is this helping me? Is this helping the scene? Is this opinion like worth sharing? Sometimes no.
Dude, I wish more people thought like that, to be honest. But
yeah, but that's
when in a band or not, you know.
You said something very important. You said, I always think. That's the difference. That's not everybody who always thinks. That's a big, you're like, oh yeah, but I think about, there's a lot of people who are just don't like that. Yeah. You're bad. Like that's the entire thinking process.
It's easy behind your keyboard when you have no profile picture and you have a fake name and everything, but also it's fine. Like freedom of speech, I guess. You're allowed to not like some kinds of music, and sometimes there's actually like negative comments that are very like well put and
funny too. You know,
sometimes
it's funny.
But sometimes there's like an actual criticism with like, oh, I would have liked if there was this instead of that, or I would have liked this part a little longer, or something like that. Like, but you know, it's in the end, it's up to you. Like you choose. It's your choice. You choose to receive that and take it and keep it in you, or you choose to like not take this into consideration and keep your skin clear.
That's a good expression. We're gonna have to steal that one. It's a really good expression.
You know, I've been on Accutane twice. I can't let stress.
I did that too.
It fucking sucks.
Yeah, I just want to say, while you do that, for people who don't know, Accutane, when you do that, you become like a vampire. Like the sun is hurting you. You have to stay inside. I don't know for you, my lips were like so dry. It would be bleeding. It's like, it's a whole, it works. It did work, but it's a whole process. I just want to say, I completely understand what you went through. Unless you had like a good experience on it. But me, it was like, it was special.
It's my second round. I stopped in September and it came back like a month ago. So I'm on my second round right now, but I'm on a lower dose, so I don't have as much side effects, but I still have the bloody lips and the nosebleed sometimes. And yeah, it really sucks. But you know what? After, I think everyone who had acne can relate to that, like how after you had like clear skin and you get like a pimple back, it's like the end of the world. And so I always like try to tell myself, like, I can't start stressing over this because like my skin, I can't do that.
It's true. You really have a good point though, because I swear I was really younger, and still today, I'm not kidding, still today, I'm going to look at myself in the mirror, I'm going to be scared to see that it's coming back or whatever. Like I had really severe, like a lot of acne. So like, I'm sure I'm not the only one relating to what you said. It's a whole thing. So stress, I think you have a point. Don't stress, clear skin. There you go.
Absolutely. And join the Accutane Reddit thread. I read on it every day. I'm like, sometimes when I have something, I'm like, is it like some weird side effects? I'm gonna go on the Reddit thread and read if anyone else had this experience. You know, you start like freaking out. You have like one breakout. And you're like, oh my god, do I have to have a second round of Accutane? What do you think? Yeah, everyone is starting to like stress over it.
Yeah, I get that. I understand that for sure.
Okay, last thing before we wrap this up. So I'd be remiss if we didn't at least talk a little bit about this. But hey, we're three French speaking people in the call here, so we got to talk about English being second language. But I'm more interested in French, and specifically the usage of French within the music, because you've got French lyrics. I'd love to know the thinking behind it. I candidly, and maybe I'm setting this up too much, but I candidly, for the most part, would err on the side that I've basically never really enjoyed French lyrics in metal. I think like the French language has such there's something unbrutal about them. I don't know how else to say it. It's very poetic, so it's very, I don't know. But you make it work. And it's like specifically in like call outs and like these really badass fucking parts. And I want you to kind of walk us through the process and how you go about it, because it is, I think, like I said, I've never fucked with it, but I love it in your guys' stuff.
And did it make the rest of the band laugh is my other question about it. You know, hearing you speak French like that, I just want to add that.
Well, that's actually a whole debate in the band. Like, we were not really sure about putting French at first because our audience is mostly from the US. And so we thought that maybe less people would relate to it, or if we have a sick part and it's in French, people are less likely gonna sing it back to us live because they don't know how to pronounce it. So that was a whole thing. But for Grosse Bagarre, the way we did this song, like there's one line in French in it, and the song ended up being called Grosse Bagarre. But this song ended up like as a meme song because the way we made it was just like a fucking joke. Because it was like the first EP. We got late on the schedule. We had only one day left to record a song before we were doing the music videos, and then I would fly back to France. We had someone scheduled for a feature that ended up not being able to do it. So it made us lose one day of studio, and we were really worried about not having the 5 songs as we wanted to do. But Eric woke up at like 5 a.m. and he started writing Grosse Bagarre. And I think like it was Corey Tom and I, who went downstairs in the basement where Eric was writing, and he was like shaking from all the caffeine, and he was like, I have a song. I think I have the last song. We're like, okay. And so we listened to it, and I think we literally wrote this in like 20 minutes. And the way I recorded the vocals, I think I did one take. And we didn't double anything. It was just like one take. And then there was like maybe a couple parts that I re-recorded because it was not like super good. But the rest of it, like it just happened so fast because we didn't have time. So it was basically the whole thing is like, we don't have time. It's stupid that we're even doing this, but let's do this. And yeah, the Baisse les yeux quand je te parle. I just thought that it was brutal,
so
you know?
Yeah.
Just the meaning, like I explained to the guys, like, it's like look down when I talk to you, like don't
like
look at me in the eyes.
Almost.
Exactly. That's exactly how I wrote the lyrics for this song. I was like, this is c'est moi le gars, tu vois. T'as compris, t'as capté. M'en bats les couilles. Like this, you know. So it was a bit like this kind of a vibe for this song. For Death Reflection, honestly, it's a huge flop for me because the whole story about it is also so stupid. For Death Reflection, it was basically I was working with Netflix at that moment. So I was away and I just didn't have, like, I was away for like almost 3 months in a hotel room because I was filming this show in Grenoble, which is 7 hours away from Strasbourg. So I just like couldn't record vocals in this hotel room, and I was working like an insane amount of hours. I was sleeping like four hours a night. So it was just impossible for me to write anything. So Corey wrote most of this EP, which I told the band afterwards, I can't not write on the other EPs after that. Like I need to be involved. So which we did. It was just this one time because I had this insane opportunity for my career back then, and the band was obviously super supportive about it. They were like, okay, we're going to take care of this. Do your thing. It's a great opportunity. So just do it. And so they took care of that. And there was just this whole debate. I can't believe I'm about to reveal this whole story, but this one part in French was actually going to be a meme part in English. And basically the way Eric wrote that, because he wrote the instrumental for Death Reflection, the instrumental at this part was like a fake pop punk part, and it was supposed to be, what the fuck are these guys doing? And Dave like recorded a singing, like clean singing chorus, and then it would like blur and go back to the breakdown and like, oh, never mind, it's a joke, we're never gonna do clean singing, ahaha. And it was honestly hilarious. But there was a whole debate about we're not keeping this in the original song. And so I had like only 30 minutes to try to come up with it, to like convince the band to not go with this meme part. And back at this moment, there was like an actor that I worked with on a short movie. He was spamming me on Instagram and I blocked him. And I was just like, I met you once, I don't want to talk to you. Like, and that was basically how, I'm sorry.
I fucking love this.
It was so stupid. Like I ended up like using, like, that was the thing is I blocked him. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to insult him or be mean, but in my head I was just like, tu vas arrêter de me casser les couilles. And so I've put it in this part. It was just like me trying to just put a vocal pattern, not even lyrics, just a vocal pattern of like, hey, this is what I come up with. I can change the lyrics, but they just found, oh, in French, it actually sounds so good. Like it sounds so aggressive. I was like, okay. And then they were like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, it's just this guy, like he can't stop sending me messages. And I'm just like, I can't keep up with him. I blocked him on Facebook. Now he's talking me to Instagram. So I blocked him on Instagram and now he's trying to message me here. And it's so annoying. And so they were like, oh, it's actually funny. Let's keep that. And it just became like an inside joke, but honestly, I hate that we that we kept this part like that. But I think in the context of this whole thing, like it was just so funny, and so we kept it. But it's so stupid.
I'm really glad you did though, because it might be my favorite origin story for something. The fact that this dude probably has absolutely no idea, or maybe now what if the person watching now afterwards or whatever might know, but the fact that this person was the inspiration is hilarious because it was just someone sending messages and then it's your song. It's perfect. It's so good.
It was just so awkward. Like, I don't know. I just don't like getting spammed, and I was trying to like do this job, and at the same time there was like I had to write the music. I was like, please stop talking to me, and I don't know. But it ended up being this. But we actually have a serious French song that's coming on this new EP coming. It's all in French.
Is it inspired by the same person? I'm kidding.
No. no, not this time.
Someone else pissed her off this time.
Exactly.
No, it's actually not. It's actually a sad kind of vibe. It's not. I mean, it is violent in a way, but it's not really like a tough guy song. There are a couple tough guy songs on this EP, but this song is actually called "The Poet," and basically it's a poem that I originally wrote in French, and I knew that I wanted to put it at some point on a song, but I was just waiting to be ready to put this out there and have the right song for it as well. And it's actually about cyberbullying, and it's about how like the chorus is based on the poet's point of view, so it's his words, and the rest of the song is from the victim. And so the poem is like his writings are an attack. His words are a weapon to like humiliate, destroy someone's reputation by letting those writings. It's a metaphor for internet and how when you write something, it stays forever, and you can basically kill people like this because you see like very young kids like getting bullied online, and that's what this song is about. So it was really hard to like be ready to put this out because it's something that I experienced myself when I was really young, and I was just waiting like for the right time to put this out there, and I think it fits with this song.
It's a very important topic that I feel like is getting in kind of people don't take it seriously enough because they're like, well, it's online. It's really often like brushed away, but it's something that people go through, you know, like teenagers at school and stuff. Like I'm so old that when I was in school, I didn't even have a phone. You know what I mean? Like I had no social media, but I'm trying to picture for people right now, kids growing up, and like when they go home, if sometimes it's difficult at school, now it translate even online and stuff. So I actually think it's a very important topic that should be addressed. So it's great to hear. That's all I wanted to say about it.
Is that something that you kind of heard the instrumental and were like, oh, this is the song, like I have the lyrics for this already? Is that like how it kind of went down?
It kind of worked like this. Actually, I told the band, like, I think it was really a year ago already. I already have those lyrics, and I told the band the concept of this poem, and I told them someday I want to put this on a song. I don't know when I'll be ready or when the song is there, but it's something I want to do at some point. So they were aware that this was going to happen, and the song just was the right one. And it was actually, I remember when we submitted the songs to Joey, it was his favorite at the time. He really liked this one, and we actually sent like a bunch of songs to Joey, and he made the selection for this EP. Because he just had a feeling that those songs worked really well together. And I remember one of the main topics that he talked about is I want to help you guys to find your identity. And he really liked the idea that I would do something in French because it's related to my culture, and it's something that is personal. And yeah, I think it ended up turning out good. I mean, there's so many other songs that are worth talking about on this EP, but this one was a bit special, I have to say.
It's cool. It's really cool to hear. And I bet it's cool also for your people, right? Like family, friends and stuff like that. When you do something like in French and stuff, I see it kind of also a connection to, you know, where you're from, your people and stuff like that. So I'm guessing even for you to perform it is going to be emotional. Like there's going to be another layer of emotions on with it, right? So it's cool. Now we're curious to hear. So there's that, but it's really cool to, you know, to hear that it's such like a big part of you into it, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers on this EP, different. I mean, everything is linked because it all is about mental health, but it's not linear in a way that the first song is actually like, it's a female rage anthem. It's really like the song is about the shift that happens in someone when they realize that they've been treated badly, wrongly for a long time, and they just realize I can't accept being treated like that. And then the person stands up for themselves. And obviously it's deathcore, so it ends up a little bit violent, but
it's gotta.
Yeah, the song is. There's a few songs like, you know, Consideration is like it is hopeful at the end because the person ends up seeing the light at the end of the song. Predatory is a bit like the beginning of the nightmare. The way I wrote Predatory was part 1 and Consideration was part 2. And there's another song on this EP, Saboteur. It's about just standing up against yourself and your inner saboteur, and saying like, it's very violent again because it's deathcore obviously, but it's a lot like this little voice in my head, like I can't let it speak to me like that, and I can't let myself do this to myself. So it's a lot between like, you stand up for yourself, you want better for yourself, but sometimes it's hard to heal some old wounds, and it takes more than just to try to be okay sometimes.
That's awesome.
Well said.
Dude, I can't wait for the rest of these songs, especially after hearing all this stuff. This is fucking cool.
I think these are great concept that if I may add are not we don't hear that a lot in deathcore. I'm not saying there's good lyrics, but those topics we don't hear a lot of that in especially in that scene. So super excited to see the whole result within the music and stuff. It's gonna be cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just the way I try to approach that lyrically is a bit different for me, because usually, you know, I like to write tough guy shit or like storytelling point of view. But I think when it comes to music in general, but that's just my personal point of view, I like things that I can connect to emotionally. And I was trying to find that in us as well, because obviously you do music as entertainment, but sometimes it's cool to also have something that people can feel or relate to. And like when I think of this way of writing, it makes me think of Nadir by Black Tongue. The first time I heard this record, I didn't need to read the lyrics. I just knew that it was fucking sad, just by how like the whole EP is so the album is so melancholic and sad, and I don't know, it just made me feel something. And the first song on this album, I remember like picturing like an old man that's carrying a rock on his back, and he's trying to walk on a mountain and carrying like the weight of the world on his back. And I mean, it's not about that, but like that's how it made me feel. And I like the idea of writing something or just listening to something that creates images and stories in your head before you even like know what it is actually about.
If for instance you don't understand French and you're listening to that one song, right? Like to still get a vibe from it and be like, "Ooh, this is some heavy shit," you know?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the purpose of any kind of art and entertainment is, even if it doesn't make you feel things that are nice, the purpose is mostly to like get a reaction out of you, and just emotionally bring something to you. Just like some songs are linked to some really positive memories or like very strong moments of your life, and it reminds you of some things you've been through or some beautiful drives you've had with someone you care about, or I don't know, your wedding song or something like that, you know?
Yeah,
Well
no,
said.
100%. Ah, man, I'm really excited now. Now, look, we don't have to wait much longer for this EP to come out, and I feel like I was thinking about this while we were talking. I think we have to clarify that you're currently in the studio, not for this album that's coming out next week.
It's more.
It's more, right?
Yeah.
So.
We are doing more music. I can't tell you yet if it's how it's going to be released, because I honestly don't know. We just had more songs that we really liked, and we wanted to record them. So I don't know if it's going to be singles or an EP, or maybe we're going to write more. It's going to be an album. I honestly have no idea. But they're just songs we really enjoy, and we're working on having features on those as well. I don't know yet if it's confirmed, but I did personally message someone that I look up to a lot vocally, and I hope it's going to happen, because it will be literally like goals for me. I can retire after that.
Hey, whoa.
No.
Oh, retiring 3 years into the band. Whoa, hold on now. But no, that's cool. I mean, it is special though to consider the fact that you guys are back in the studio before having put out the stuff that's already recorded, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, what we're doing right now, we're almost done. Like those songs were already written. We're just recording it, and we're already writing more music. So that's the thing about this band is you have 6 members. The writing never really stops, honestly, and we had like this whole process to make me like come to America and just get like the appropriate paperwork done so I could tour as well. So it took a little while before I was able to like get back to do more with the band. But now that a lot of things are settled, you're gonna see us on stage soon. I can't say when for yet, but I promise it's really soon. And yeah, of course, more music, because now we are rolling. We're prepared.
I guess, yeah, like to what you were saying, like there was basically maybe like a year of, you know, put out the last EP in 2023. So there's a year of like a gap, I guess, of where you guys probably were still writing. So I guess at this point, yeah, you're putting an EP out, but there's been a year's worth of songs being written, right?
Oh yeah, there's just so many songs in our folders. Like we have a big Face to Self folder, and in those folders is like a folder under each member. So there's like so many songs, you guys have no idea. But yeah, I mean this EP that we're releasing, I believe next week.
Yes, sir. Can't confirm.
Yeah, it's the 18th. I don't even know which day it is right now, but those songs we're releasing, we wrote them a year ago now. So, and the things we're recording now, we also wrote that a year ago. So we're really excited to just like put on more music and hopefully no more breaks.
Yeah. So look, I'd love to maybe give you the space to plug anything. I know you guys, for anyone who's watching live, and yeah, just live, because by the time this will be uploaded, this will be happening, but, well, it'll be the next day. Music video. You guys are shooting a live thing, right?
Yes. This Sunday in New Jersey, at the Williams Center, we are recording a music video for a song that is not for this EP. So if you want to have like a little insight on of something completely new that is not going to be released yet. It's the moment to be here, and we're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be some sort of like crowd video. The whole band obviously is gonna be here. We're gonna have a lot of our friends as well. Everyone from the crew is like super nice to hang with, so there's an opportunity to meet new people. And obviously we're bringing food, so we can share a drink and eat some chips and snacks and stuff like that. So if you guys want to come, the Williams Center is like a great place. So anyone is welcome.
Cool. Hell yeah. And then, you mentioned, I guess, Martyr comes out on the 18th, April 18th. Is there anything else you'd want to shout out, band related, where to find you on socials, anything like that?
Sure. We are on TikTok and Instagram under F Yourself Band, and on Facebook under Face Yourself. Obviously on all the streaming platforms. You can watch and listen to our newest music via Sumerian Records as well. We have vinyls and CDs for this new EP coming as well on the Sumerian website. All of our previous records and our merch is on our own website as well. And besides that, really thank you to anyone who is like supporting us, really, because we wouldn't be doing all of this if it wasn't for you, and like all the people that have been reacting to our music, the people who have been inviting us to interviews like you guys. So thank you so much. And yeah, anyone who buys our merch and who support us to get like tour opportunities, who like the people of our team as well, Defense, obviously, the Sumerian team, anyone who gives us a chance and is willing to listen to our music. And yeah, we really appreciate that, and we wouldn't be doing that without you. So thank you.
Really well said. And I do want to say before we close a big congrats in terms of like, you know, the views, how things are going, the things with the band and everything. It's not something we see a lot, and it's extremely difficult when there are so many bands right now trying to, you know, constantly releasing stuff, to have this level of just like hype and attention and doing it differently as well. We had this conversation during the pre-show, but you guys are doing it in your own way. So I wanted to say congrats for that, because it's not easy to achieve, and you know, so it's looking good is what I'm saying. So it's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, we're definitely grateful also for other people who are part of this music scene, who have been supportive of us, and people who have paved the way for us as well, who have been inspirations. And also like local scenes are so important. Like I see that when I go to shows, like there's like so many people who show up to support local bands. And I mean, for me, I still feel like Face Yourself as a local band, because I haven't had the chance to tour yet. And like we obviously have like really great opportunities, but like it still feels so unreal to us. And yeah, I think it's really important also to mention like anyone who's just like trying to do this. There's so many bands who are trying to do that, and it's a very like brave thing to do, because it's not easy, and obviously not everyone has the ambition of touring or anything. It's also great to do music just because you enjoy it. In the end, it's something that should be accessible to anyone. It's art, and like, let's try to not like take all of this that seriously and be like, oh, this sucks. Oh, those people should stop doing music. No, everyone has the right to do it. And yeah, it makes the music, the genre go on, and everyone who is doing a little bit of it, no matter if they're just starting or been doing this for a long time, they're contributing to the scene. So all of that is really important as well.
Couldn't have said it better. It's perfectly said. It's such a good way of I have nothing to add to that. It was perfect. So
thank you.
Yeah, well, Yasmine, thank you so much for sharing with us and for taking the time to do this amidst your very currently busy schedule. So, all love.
Well,
Thank you so much for.
I know you guys are busy too. Like I've been watching your videos. I think the last one that I watched, I don't watch them in order. I just kind of like scroll and see. Oh, I want to know about this person. So I was watching the Ben Dwyer video recently, and I saw that he mentioned us. I had a little bit of fangirling moment. It was so cool. But yeah, I really like what you guys do. I actually found out about you guys through when you did the podcast with Dan. Also, shout out to Dan because he messaged me during the thing and he told me, oh, you have to tell them hi from me. So yeah, he says
let's
hi.
Go. Hell yeah. Well, hi to Dan. Say hi back to him.
We love Dan. Yeah, we love that. We say constantly that he's a beast. He's amazing. And you guys are a power couple for what it's worth. You know, it's not something we see really often, two talented individuals together. It's cool to see as well. You guys are great. So.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And we're gonna have to reinvite you because I feel like Face Yourself is gonna do a lot, and you're already doing a lot, but we're gonna have to reinvite you and see where you guys at in the future for sure.
I would love to, and if anything, like. There's 6 members. I'm sure you want to hear what other members have to say too. Like obviously I'm down to come back, but I think that's the one thing you will see with the band. And that's a thing that Joey mentioned the first time he worked with us. We did 2 groups separately. And he said, when I work with you guys, it just feels like I'm working with 2 different bands because you're all so different. So you'll see so many different personalities in the band as well.
That would be interesting. I mean, you talked about Eric. I mean, it's full of talent, and each person would be interesting. So that's a really good point. I would be very curious as well. So we'll kill that. We're going to keep that in mind for sure.
Yeah, we'll have to. We'll hold you up on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
We stay in contact.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
Okay, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
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 If you made it to the end of this episode, thank you for watching. And hey, while you're here, hit that subscribe or follow button and a review. If you're watching or listening on a podcast platform, it would mean the world and it helps out more than you know. A big thank you as well to all of our supporters over on Patreon and on Twitch. New episodes every week, links to our Patreon, Discord, and socials in the description. We'll see you soon. We're out.